I'll just quickly introduce myself. Is that okay?
Yeah, you're fine.
Again, my name is John West. I grew up in this area. I actually grew up with Adam's wife, Shannon, and Justin, to be fair. So very, I'm from the area, very used to this crowd and these people. I got introduced to Jackie through my business. I work with her as a personal client, and also found a lot of professional contacts in the area. We're all intertwined here in professional services in Bucks County, so it's pretty cool there. Grew up in Bucks County, went to William Tennant, graduated from Temple with a marketing and finance degree. Got into financial planning 10.5 years ago. Before that, I started at an internet company called CheapCaribbean.com. Worked as the business analyst. It was the coolest place to work. When you're young, you got to go on trips. Learned a lot about small business financial statements, putting that together, but then realized I didn't love being behind a desk, which I'm sure all of you can relate to. Liked meeting people, liked specifically helping people, and that's why I jumped into financial planning. I've been doing it for 10 years. Just 3.5 years ago, I went into business for myself. Jumped in with a partner and formed what we call Pillar Planning Group. Just like in real estate, we get to name our own things. The bottom line is we're Pillar Planning Group, but we clear under Ameriprise Financial as our broker dealer, as Keller Williams would be. Super cool because we get to make our own, and I know this all relates to you, we get to make our own schedule, but we get to form our own service models, and we get to treat clients the way that we want to work with clients. For myself and my partner, we're committed to being very one-on-one, client-specific oriented. So again, just real quick, that's a little bit about how we run our business and what we do, who I am personally. So today, honestly, the way that I looked at the agenda when Jackie didn't give me an agenda was that I just want to share 3 best practices that I've found with small business professionals, specifically real estate agents and people that are in commission-based sales, that it might not be a consistent income, not used to getting a paycheck that comes in bi-weekly with all of our deductions. I'll share a little bit about that, and then really just open it up to questions for you from a financial planning standpoint, all the way to investments and what the hell's going on in the world, and just give you my perspective. Hopefully you all have some type of professional advice in that way, but hopefully you find that useful. That sound good? Awesome. So again, there's endless financial planning strategies. You all know in the real estate world, there's endless ways to look at a piece of real estate property. And is it investment? Is it personal use? Why do you apply different metrics each way? Same with financial planning on a personal level. And but there's 3 things when I sat down and thought about talking to a bunch of real estate agents that stood out to me as simple things you should focus on. Simple, I guess you could call it disciplines that you focus on. And if you're doing that long term, you're going to be in a really good shape. Okay. The first is, I just brought up the paycheck and having a job. How many here worked in a different industry before being in real estate? Pretty much. Okay. Now, when you're in that job, you just go, you tell them what your checking account is, and then they put your money in your bank account, right? And they already paid your taxes. They already taken out for your retirement plan. They've already paid your medical, right? Really easy, right? And now that you've made the switch, Jackie, how hard is it to plan for taxes and medical and retirement when you get that nice commission check of $5,000? It's like, I just made $5,000.
Very hard.
It's hard, right?
Yeah, you don't want to take away from that. It's easy to just feel like you got that and forget that you owe 30% and this and that.
Yeah, and that's what I find a lot of times is that, especially initially, if you come from a different industry, is that like we're not disciplined to just figure out, okay, where's our buckets? Like our bucket for taxes, our bucket for our future. Is it short-term and long-term future? Then our bucket for spending. So in my opinion, it's very important to make sure we either, whatever works for you. I really truly believe that it's on a personal level. Some things work for others. It doesn't work for yourself. But for me, I usually recommend taking a percent, say, yeah, it's in a simple spreadsheet. You know, if you've been in the business a while, maybe that's a little bit different. And if you have a lot of fixed expenses, this is a little bit different. But if you're on your own, it's a simple spreadsheet of, just like I said, you know, 25 taxes, right? I say minimum of all times 10 for future, and we'll put long term. Then there's future short term, and we'll figure what that is. And then there's spending. Like you have to have food. You have to enjoy yourself. But if this ends up being 90, we're in big trouble. You're never going to save for retirement. You'll say that I'll catch you up at some point, but if you start on the sugar at one point, getting off of it is gonna be even harder. So being disciplined of saying, you know, this is the numbers here. Like, does that work for you personally? Can your personal budget fit in here? And if it can't, how are we going to really take away from retirement or not an investment property or beach house or, you know, our next, you know, children's education, things like that. Does that make sense? How's I mean, has anybody given that a shot? She has. I'm just picking on her. I'm sorry. She told me to pick on her to the thing since she left me out to dry here. Yeah, and you know, we'll talk. These things. This is where I spend most of my time, is trying to make sure those buckets make sense. The second area that I think is really important for really anybody in professional services is to not go at investing really investing with blinders on, meaning you are all great real estate agents. I don't doubt that. And you can tell me what a good investment in real estate is. I don't doubt that whatsoever. But what I do doubt is a lot of times we find we're either all in real estate or we're all not in real estate. And I'm going to stand here as a financial advisor and tell you there's plenty of advisors out there who'll be like, take all your money, take anything that's liquid and put it in the stock market. I don't agree with that. I think real estate's a great investment. It's a super good investment. But I do see there's problems with taking every liquid asset that you have and then some on leverage using loans and being in real estate investments only. The reason being is that I don't know if I need to erase this. You want to build balance in your investment portfolio for the simple word control. Control is important. There's two key areas of control. Well, three. There's taxes. There is liquidity. I don't know the last time I ran on a whiteboard, so if anybody has a problem with my handwriting, I apologize. Liquidity and then risk. As an investor, now putting on your investor hat for, you know, your future goals, all that, trying to control these is most important. I can't control the stock market. I can understand it and I can have some influence, but I can't control it. But I know I need to be invested there. You can't control fixed interest. You guys can't control mortgage rates. You just can't. But we have to have some control. So where I'm going with make sure you have balance inside your investment portfolio is the second key as a real estate agent, is that if you have all real estate 100%, I know everybody can make an argument like, yeah, I'll borrow against it if I need it, blah, 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 blah. You're lacking liquidity. And that's also adding some risk to, not that I think that there's a housing crisis. I don't think 2008 is a reoccurring event, but liquidity or equity in a home is money that's not necessarily working for you. We know that last year prices appreciated great. And I know that you've probably seen a bunch of presentations up there that it's going to continue into perpetuity, but as a realist, you know that real estate's probably going to grow at like 3 or 4% over a 20-year time horizon. And that's okay. That's fine. But equities are going to grow at 7%. They're going to have their ups and they're going to have their downs. So have balance, right? Taxes is another area of importance where in some things, and real estate does, they do have them in IRAs these days and things like that. Having some control over taxing now and in the future for retirement is another area which kind of commingles real estate and traditional investments. Does that make sense? Balance is key. Balance gives you control in all situations. And then the last third, very simple one is, I think you do this every year or maybe every month, setting goals and tracking them. Setting personal goals is probably scarier than any business goal you can make because you don't want to fail and you hate breaking it down. But it's no different. You got it. Retirement aside, you should always be tracking kind of where you want to be. You want to retire at 65, you want to retire at 62, and keep a general eye on it and make sure you're contributing when we put those percentages down. But what other goals do you have? Do you have kids? Do you have grandkids? What do you want in the future? Write the goal down so that way we can set your percentages to reach that goal and track your progress. You guys set sales goals every year. You know that you're not always 100% of the goal. So you might have to make some adjustments to that future goal or the amount that your resources you're attributing to that future goal. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't write it down and track it. So again, the three areas that I say that I have found in professional services, small business specific, these three keys, these three things, being able to be systematic, being able to balance your investment decisions, and then be able to set and track your own personal goals outside of your business is hands down the three missed opportunities that I see the most in the business, in that type of environment. Fair? Questions on that? Any personal finance things that anyone's facing that, and without getting into too much personal, that questions that maybe have come up in groups that you would, like a second opinion on?
I have a question just about, so what does a consultation look like with you?
A consultation with me, initial consultation is free. It's really a chance for us to get introduced, talk about, what is keeping you up at night, get more information about you. And then together we decide, like, can I help? And if I can, what does that look like? But, initially it's just a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So what you are really looking, like, I have stocks, I have some investments in businesses and have, like that type of thing. And then you would look at, expenses
Mm-hmm.
and then help me.
Yep. So we gather all that information and again, set, what do you need? What are you expecting to need in the future? And, make a decision on, do you need to do any, maybe you're doing great. Maybe you're doing so good that we need to plan for legacy planning and taxes for the future. Maybe you are. You just don't know. So yeah, that's what it looks like. Initially, we said it's really just a conversation to get to know you and see if there is an opportunity for us to help. And if there is, go through, the planning process from there. Crap. I thought of something that I wanted to mention.
My planning with John started, I don't know, like 5 to 6 years ago.
5 years ago, yeah, different job, different house.
Everything was different.
She stresses
I
me
made
out.
John's hair fall out with my crazy.
I'm gonna end up looking like Marty.
But, it's like, I always felt like he was accountability partner. I don't always hold on my end, but like I found that like what works for me is just like setting an account with John and auto deductions and, just giving him things to put and fill my buckets for me because I know I'm not gonna do it on my own and I just need that.
Mhm.
So, like we have crazy goals and we're on pace to hit them because I have somebody helping me, that's what I need, but.
Yeah, I would actually relate it to as a financial planner, and again, investments aside, the planning is where I really enjoy working because I can see the difference, and it's just like what you do in real estate. I'm sure if I sat here and said like, why do I really need a real, actually Jackie, before she got into real estate, I had to fight her because she's like, I'm selling my house privately. I'm like, yeah, you should probably talk to a real estate agent. They know what the hell they're doing. She does it. She then decides she gets in real estate. She gets in real estate and she says to me, I should have hired a realtor. So like, same with, I relate to personal trading a lot. It's that accountability partner, and it's really my job. And the only way that any financial advisor, in my opinion, in this environment with all the technology you have, like you can go calculate if you're on track for retirement. Don't let me, don't think that I'm telling you that you can't. But it's the consistent proactive meeting. I meet with her twice a year minimum, talk to her probably another 6 times. Right now, her helping me with a house, which I probably every other day. But the point being is that the reason that my partner and I keep our practice small is that we're able to connect with all of our clients on a real personal level, just like you do in real estate. You know your clients, you know what they're selling or what they're buying.
At what point do you suggest getting into an LLC as opposed to being an independent contractor?
From a tax standpoint, there's not a range of difference. So in my opinion, it's really comes down to liability protection on the business. Like you have errors and omissions insurance, correct?
Right.
So yeah, like, because your LLC ends up flowing through to your personal Schedule C. There's not that much tax savings once if you try to do an LLC, other than unless you're buying, are you buying would you be buying cars inside your business or anything like that?
I have that.
Yeah. Here's what I'd say. I wouldn't rush
Help
it.
me.
I wouldn't rush it. I wouldn't go to bed feeling like you're missing out.
Because right now I'm putting aside 50% for taxes, and I don't know if that's unwise or if that's realistic.
That's
It's your
high.
first year. You
Yeah.
haven't done it yet. You haven't.
You know what? My first year of being on my own. No. To be fair, my first year of being on my own in finance, I was shocked when I had to pay I'm in finance. I was putting away 25%.
Yeah.
But here's what I would say: 50% is too high.
Okay.
But and I don't know your income, but I would say do at least 25% federal, and then you have Social Security, or you have the payroll taxes, so Social Security and Medicare, which is 6.2 on each side, so that's 12. You have to pay both. Sucks. So that's another 12.4. So at the most, you're going to want to put it like 35%, and that's not taking any deductions.
Okay.
And if your income, the LLC idea, if your income does grow substantially, there could be some opportunity where you open an LLC, you put an LLC, and then you start payrolling yourself. But you're definitely going to want to have like consistent income for like 1 or 2 years before you like go through the paperwork of doing all that. And a payroll company costs money. You got to consider all the costs.
Right.
Do you have to put tax aside for Medicare and Social Security?
Yeah. Whenever, and again, I'm not, just so you know, I'm not licensed as a CPA. I just know enough to be dangerous. If it flows through your Schedule C on your tax return, it's considered self-employment income, and self-employment income is 1099 or is taxable to FICA. Yeah. But what I was just saying to her is that, oh God, I'm so old. Once you're able to pay yourself payroll income, so if you put your money in an LLC, let's just say you made $200,000, if you can pay yourself a $50,000 salary, that's going to be subject to payroll taxes, the 12.4%. But then after that, the net income, after you pay salary to yourself as an employee, that won't be subject to K2. That will be what they call K1 income, net income coming from your business, not self-employment. An accountant probably can explain that much better, but yeah, does that make sense how I laid that out? I mean, I can write it down if you want.
Yeah. What do you do with the extra money that you're not paying yourself?
Here, let me just.
Do you not work with Paul?
What's that?
Yeah, I do, but he doesn't explain it to me.
Yeah, Paul is, I've actually just met Paul over the phone, and he's a very smart guy.
Yeah, Paul's great.
Yeah,
We all use
everybody using them? Yeah, Paul. Let's just say gross. You do 150. Right? And now, as the employee, you're gonna do a salary, so we'll do EE salary. And you pay yourself $50,000. I'm not gonna account for the taxes that are withheld, but $50,000, the taxes that they withheld, will make that deduct a little bit. So now we're down to 100,000. Now, this 50,000, what we were just talking about, those payroll taxes, this 50,000, they're doing payroll taxes. So just like, remember, we were talking about W-2s, they're gonna take out that 12.4 themselves out of that 50,000, and then your net, you're not gonna get 50,000 in your checking account, you're only gonna get 40,000, let's just say. And that's, well, actually, it should be less, but. So that's a side, but now you have, before your regular working deductions, you have a net income of $100,000. Net income. So this is not, this is only taxed as K1 income. So this wouldn't be subject to that 12.1, not subject to this.
So that's what's sitting in the account, and Josh, is that right? What
Yeah,
you're
what do I do
asking
with
me?
that money?
So what do you do with that?
You just put it in your personal bank account, and now your business just paid you 100,000. Your business,
It's like a bonus?
Yeah.
no, as your, no,
It's
it's
like
not.
like a tax
called,
fund.
Oh, it's net income.
tuition?
It's net income of the business, so it's business earning.
Isn't it
Follow
called
me?
a-
So again,
yeah.
back to her questions about the LLC. This is if you have an LLC or an S corp in place.
Yeah, I have that. I
Yeah,
just never know what to do with like the other income, like am I gonna get like a fine?
no, you just take it out. You just take it out. It's yours. It's good. You're gonna be.
Yeah, I just-
Here's
I thought you
here's what I'll tell you.
Yeah,
No
sure.
matter if you keep this, if you keep this in your business account, that's fine, but it's still gonna be taxed at the end of the year.
Yeah,
It's still in
that's
your
what-
business
okay.
account.
You're
So
just
you
not
just
paying the
sweep-
12%
you sweep it.
on it.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna pick on Jackie because she's actually going through this process right now, is she's gonna pay herself a salary, but then on a monthly basis, what I recommend is she keeps a working capital in her business account. Let's just call it, she needs to keep $10,000 in there, okay? Anything above that $10,000 working capital, she should just sweep into her personal accounts. So if she has $15,000 at the end of March 31st, she's gonna sweep $5,000. Does that make sense? Keep it really simple.
You do pay taxes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's
you
what I
can.
thought, yeah.
Well, that 5,000 that we sweep in, we'll go back to our percentages, and then she should put 20 aside for just that tax, but she's not gonna pay the payroll 12.4 that you were asking about. Does that make sense?
And mine's gonna be 350.
I make you feel better.
Am I able to put that 100,000 into like a 502 account,
529?
529?
the kid count?
Yeah, 529.
You can't put that much. You could put in,
30,000?
no, you could do like 3 years, 5 years of gifting. Actually, you could put that amount in, but I would never tell you to do that. Never, unless you came into a huge inheritance and we need the high taxes, or if you hit the lottery, we put 5 years worth. Don't.
You have to have more kids.
Yeah,
But yeah, you can't take that money out.
yeah. But you could put a big chunk of that into a retirement account and take a tax deduction on that. But you always want to manage your liquidity. When we talked about the balance, you don't want to, just because if you sit down on an account, they'll be like, oh yeah, put $20,000 into your IRA because you got too much income last year. But you want to upgrade your house in the next 24 months. So maybe that $20,000 doesn't make sense to just save on the taxes right now. Balance, key. Anything else on personal finance, and then I'll open it up to if you want.
I just wanted to comment on the 529 account. So it's a great tool for.
Great tool.
Great.
I mean, I just use it to hide taxes.
But you're,
To hide paying taxes.
but you're,
How do I know?
You're still paying taxes on the money that goes
Yeah.
in.
you're still paying federally. You're not paying 3% PA.
Right.
That's not that- I mean, it's
Taxes on the
not-
money that goes in, but it's growing taxes.
Exactly.
So it's a great program.
And the 529 plan, you get the 3%. It's better when they're young.
Yeah.
If they're 15, don't dump a bunch of money in because you're not getting the benefit of the growth without paying taxes. So,
You don't pay tax on that money.
Yeah, you don't.
When it comes out.
yeah, if it comes out for, no, but what I just said was when they're young, like if they're under 10, it's a no-brainer because then there's time for that money to grow tax deferred.
Yeah.
After you, when you're getting closer, the benefit is only the growth. You're not getting taxed on the growth. So if you're only 5 years out, you should probably keep it in like a joint account that's earmarked for education, because that way, God forbid, they don't go to school, or if they're freaking genius and they go to school for free, you're not gonna have to pay penalty on any of the growth to come out. So,
But it's not tax deferred. You never pay tax on the gain.
well, the growth is tax, they call it tax deferred, but yes, tax free. If they use it for education, they don't. Right.
But if they don't use it for education, like if they decide to become a real estate agent and they don't go to college.
You pay taxes and 10% penalty on the growth.
Okay,
So again, if we put 10,000 in today and it grows to 15,000 and they don't go to school and we take $15,000 out, 5,000, the 10,000 you already paid taxes on, that's yours. That's your basis, as they say. 5,000 is going to end up being tax at income tax plus a 10% penalty.
oh, okay.
It's not ideal, but there's ways around it. You could transfer it to their kids. You could transfer it with it. Like if you want to go back and look at some art classes or some craziness, there's ways to like work it. But
Transfer it to a sibling?
Yeah.
Okay.
so again, part of planning process, it's part of what I do with my clients is kind of like think about all those scenarios and just keep a level of balance.
Okay.
Because again, not one size fits all. That's for sure. Make sense?
Does it make a difference if you have that going into your grandchildren's account, or should I have it in my account?
So,
Does it matter?
well, your grandkids can't be the owner. You mean on like a checking?
Well, my sons have it on there.
Like a saving, so that it's in their ownership and the kids are the beneficiary?
Yes,
It matters if you really want the 3% deduction.
okay, so it's just,
But like that doesn't.
it's just simpler to just keep contributing.
Yeah, if you just put it in there, they're gonna get the tax deduction each year
Okay,
that you're putting in. But if you're not putting in $20,000 and saving $600 in taxes, like that's what we're talking about.
got it.
So every 100, you're only saving $6 on taxes.
Okay.
Anything else?
What about a Roth IRA? What's your knowledge on that?
I just know that I can tell you're young. I would say do it.
Yeah, I have one, but like, when you do you never pay tax on it unless you.
Right to his point about 529 plan, same thing is you put money in there, you have a basis, as long as that money grows. So if you bought out, I forget the guy who bought PayPal, but he has several millions of dollars in PayPal stock that he only bought at a low price. He'll never pay any taxes on the growth.
Right.
That's the benefit of a Roth. And when you're young, you have all that time to grow, and you're usually in a lower income tax bracket, so the tax deduction doesn't make as much sense. Like, yes, it's nice to save on taxes if your taxes are 20%, but if you're in a 40% tax bracket, it's a bigger value. So, yes, young, do a Roth IRA. Your income starts to disqualify you as a Roth IRA once you reach it's like 160 for an individual and then 200 for a married couple. So if your income starts disqualifying you, there's ways to do it, but it's a little bit more work. So.
And you can only buy, what you're saying, stocks with it? Has people ever bought real estate through a Roth IRA?
You could buy, so you could do $6,000 a year. So you can't do more than that right now. It will go up each year. And then there's, and this is not something Ameriprise does or I'm able to help with, but I'm pretty sure there's companies that will do, trust companies that will like put real estate holdings in what they call in trust to do it inside of a qualified plan. I mean, but for a Roth IRA, you would need a good amount of money in there. Because again, you'd have to manage the property all outside of your IRA, your Roth IRA. I'm sure there's somebody in this office that knows about that.
What's that?
Getting real estate into trust for like a traditional IRA or a Roth IRA.
So there's a great company locally that can manage that for you. It's CAMA out of Bluebell, CAMA plan.
Okay.
And you would, I guess, roll over your traditional IRA or your Roth IRA into what they call a self-directed
Yep.
IRA. And they do that.
Yeah.
CAMA will be your escrow.
I,
Got it.
they're great too, if like you already have a portfolio of real estate, like you can try to figure out how you can put your portfolio of real estate inside of a qualified plan is what they call it. Tax qualified is like an IRA, Roth IRA. Any other questions? Anybody have any questions about the financial markets and where they are now? Not that I didn't put this up to validate myself in any way, but I figured this is the best piece of data that I can get. It's up to date. So if you have any questions about what's going on, I can probably flip around there. Anything? No? Great. It's good to keep your head down and trust me.
Yeah.
That's right. All right, cool. That was easy. All right, I mean, look, again, my name's John West. You're all welcome to reach out to me at any point in time, just for a quick question about anything on business. I thoroughly enjoy just having conversations. I kind of don't shut up, probably why Jackie works with me. So please don't hesitate to reach out. I guess I might have business cards. I'm usually not a true believer in business cards. I think I'd rather call people myself, but I'll give you them, and I'm sure they'll blast does this like
Yeah.
mastermind?
I
It
think.
better say mastermind on the subject line when my email goes out.
Sure. Make sure.
Okay.
Project management.
I'll go knock down Justin's door. Okay, all right. Is that my time, Jackie? Because you didn't tell me anything about.
Thank you.
Everybody
Tom.
good? Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, thanks for listening to me, Jeff.
What's your number? What's your number?
My cell, yeah, no. I was, take my cell phone, 215-850-9529. Oh, great. I was laying down and going like, shoot, what the hell am I doing? Good, well, again, please call me. Here's my phone. Very- I'm over in Langhorne too, at Josh Ryan Mall, and then in Doylestown. All right.
Thank you.
I'm really excited about this office. I didn't know Justin's operation was this. I didn't know you guys were this big. I saw all the Facebook posts with Adam dancing. They give me a kick.
Yeah.
I think I should end this.
Yeah, the guys in the market, I'm gonna look it over.
What's that?
We looked this over, yeah, like a moment, just look.
Yeah, like what do you see that's significant?
Yeah, you go over like a
Um,
mile a minute.
well, here, let me turn this off real quick. How do I end this? I just want to,